Come and join us at Sequoia Living REI, where we only talk about relevant topics, things that are important, things that help you grow, things that help you elevate. Come and join us. Yeah. We're having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, people?
Yes, we are back with another episode of Conversations with SNL.
Yep, I'm Seth.
I'm Lashia.
And together we make Sequoia Living REI.
It's been a while.
It's been a little while, a little rusty introduction. We back here,
Yes.
We're here with Tiffany Ward.
Yes. And we welcome you to our show, where we bring you inspiring stories and expert insights into the world of real estate investing and financial freedom. Today, we have an incredible guest joining us, Tiffany Ward. Tiffany is not your average real estate investor. She's a devoted mother, a CrossFit coach, and a true powerhouse when it comes to building wealth through real estate.
Big time.
Her journey began at a young age when she bought her first property, a foreclosure in Virginia. But Tiffany did not stop there. With a desire to maximize her investment potential, she implemented a brilliant strategy known as house hacking, which allowed her to decrease expenses and increase her investable capital. In 2019, Tiffany took her real estate journey to the next level by diving into multifamily investing. With decimation and determination, she embarked on her first apartment deal, investing out of state and serving as a key principal. Tiffany's ability to navigate complex transactions and identify lucrative investment opportunities is nothing short of impressive. But Tiffany's passion extends far beyond her personal success. She is driven by a deep desire to help others achieve financial literacy and create wealth through real estate investing. Tiffany is also the founder and leader of the RVA Multifamily Meetup based in Richmond, Virginia. Through this platform, she brings together like-minded individuals who share a common goal of achieving financial independence through real estate. Join us as we delve into Tiffany's inspiring journey, uncovering her strategies, experiences, and the lessons she's learned along the way. Get ready to be motivated, educated, and empowered to take action on your own path of financial freedom. People, Tiffany Ward, people.
So we need some sound effects. That's laughing there. I appreciate that intro. That was awesome. Thank you.
We are so glad to have you here today.
Yep.
I'm glad to be here. Happy Monday. It's 4th of July, long weekend. It's a good time of the year. So happy to be here.
Yes.
Definitely. We're going to start it out with a bang.
That's right.
Let's jump straight into it. Let's get ready to pick that brain of yours, learn something. People, listen up. Better have your pencils and pads out.
Yes,
She's about to drop a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
All right, so let's just jump into it like this. So, can you take us through your real estate investing journey? And starting from your first experience buying a foreclosure. As a youngin. Out here in Virginia.
Yeah, for sure. So I bought my first house at 23. After college, I moved back home like a lot of people do. And they still have me on curfew. So I was like, I got to get out of here. And I didn't want to rent. I had rented before, through college, living on campus. And then immediately after college, I rented for a little while. But I knew I didn't want to rent. So I started looking for a house. My sister was actually the one, she lived 3 doors down. She was like, hey, there's this house on the corner that's for sale. You should check it out. And it was a foreclosure HUD home. I was able to get into it with, I don't think I had a whole lot of competition, but you never know. I was able to get into it with an FHA loan. So I only had to put 3.5% down. And then I house hacked it. So I didn't even know what house hacking was at that point. I just knew that I was trying to get out of my house and my girlfriend was trying to get out of her house. So I was like, hey, come live with me. Come help me pay these bills. So I ended up closing on that property, got stressed out because I was 23 and I was like, oh my gosh, I just bought a house. So I went and got multiple jobs. I think I had 3 jobs.
Wow.
I had my full-time job and then 2 part-time jobs. And then I went back to school And I was just like a crazy woman for a while, just making sure I could pay all my bills.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't invest into another piece of real estate until, I don't know, 2017, 2018. I don't know. I was, because I had moved out of town for work, and I moved back home, and I got married back then, and we bought a house. So I bought a house in my name. My ex at the time, he said, hey, don't put my name on it. You can buy 10 properties under your name, and I can buy 10 properties under mine. So I was like, okay, I'm listening. And I bought a house then in my name. This was 2015. So I bought a house in my name, and then we went on to buy a house together. So he used his VA loan. So when I say that, the mortgage was in either my name or his name. We were both on the deed. Mm-hmm. So that's the hack there. And then after that, I bought a duplex, and then I transitioned fully into commercial real estate, which is 5 or more doors. So that was in 2019. And then I've been buying a property here and there. I wouldn't say I'm a high volume investor. I do work full-time, still full-time W-2 employee. I enjoy my job, but I invest when the deals make sense. I'm very conservative, and I would say I do kind of a deal here and there. I'm really just putting money that I've been able to accumulate through investing, through family members passing and having those legacy systems in place, rolling over kind of my 401k from the first job to the next job. So just leveraging the different mechanisms that are available to grow my portfolio, slowly but surely.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a savvy investor to me.
It definitely does. Very responsible.
Whether you're talking about it's not really high value, but it's still, like you can see this, like some of like the strategic moves in there,
It's chess, not checkers.
That's right. I think so many people, they often feel like, and I've gone down that rabbit hole too, where you feel like you need to be closing a deal, every year, every quarter, every month, like whatever those metrics are. I think so often we compare ourselves to our peers, especially when you get into a lot of these investor groups and you see these people who are just closing multiple deals. Every other week, it seems like they're closing on a deal. I think it just depends on your strategy. It depends on your goals. And for me, like I said, I'm very conservative. I'm investing for retirement. I'm not investing for today, for cash flow today. Like I don't need to eat off my investments, which is just a different strategy. So you got to be clear on why you're investing and what you hope to get out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love it. All right. So how did house hacking help you decrease expenses and boost your investable capital? Can you share some tips for others who might be interested in house hacking, including us, because we're definitely interested in it?
Yeah, so at the time I was 23, right? And I didn't know much about real estate. I didn't even know what was fair market rent, right? I just knew, I was like, hey, if I can get my girlfriend in here, I can get her in at a low cost that would incentivize her to move out. And help me like pay some of the light bill, the water bill, the internet bill. That was my thought back then. So there are a couple of strategies that you can employ. You can try to eliminate your whole bill. So let's say I was in a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house. I could have rented out every room. So I lived in one, and I could have rented out each of the other 3 rooms to maximize how much rent I was going to get, and to effectively wipe out any mortgage payments, any utilities. But for me, that $500, it just gave me, I charged her $500 back then. It just gave me more security. So like I said, I took on multiple jobs. I was like, okay, I've put this big stressor on me. I think so many people, they get stressed about making that leap into home ownership. Yeah. But to me, it was just an extra level of protection. I try to layer my levels of protection of how I can finance something. And my goal was not to, like I said, I didn't want to rent out the whole house because I still wanted to be comfortable. I knew we'd known each other for forever. I wanted our home environment to be comfortable and safe. But I guess I was just looking for an extra level of comfort in making those bills, making sure I could pay my bills, no foreclosures, no issues. I think for people who are looking to execute that strategy today, obviously if you're younger and without kids, like, go crazy. I mean, as you'll continue to hear, I'm somewhat risk averse. And I knew, like, a lot of people, they don't want to live with strangers. And I didn't want to live with strangers. And I think that's a big barrier for a lot of people. So if you are outgoing, if you can get over that mental barrier of living with strangers, Airbnb out your rooms, right? Then maybe you don't have someone there all the time. Or you can go and furnish finders and get like traveling nurses or professionals. And that way they're only there for shorter periods of time. Some people say don't room and live with your best friends. It worked out for me. I have pretty cool friends.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're not attached to like kids and spouses, definitely go for it. I think it is harder, but not impossible when you do have a spouse or you have children, because, making sure that home environment and your children are safe in the right environment is critical. So I would say, for my opinion, is like maybe a duplex, triplex, or quad. Those are still fully available with FHA loans. You still only got to put 3.5% down. But that way you have your dedicated unit, and then you can rent out the other units. And that's what I did when I bought a duplex in 2018. I lived in the top and I had a tenant in the bottom. And I was just a little bit older. I still didn't really want to share my space, but I was okay like having a tenant in the other unit because I still had my level of separation. So I think that that's a feasible strategy. Again, if you are, if you don't care about strangers or, your besties being there, rent out the rooms. If your market does have duplexes, triplexes, quads, I would definitely start there. Try to start as big as you can go with a quadplex, and then, next time go to a 3, next time go to a 2, next time go to a single family home. I think so many people, they buy that they want to get that dream home, and so they never act, right? But it's just like, hey, you only got to be here for 1 year.
Yeah.
I think that you should do it the right way. I like to follow rules. So FHA loans, you're supposed to occupy for 1 year. Go live there for a year, and then move to the next house. Move to the next house. So I would say, go ahead.
Like, that's awesome because like from the beginning you said, because normally when people think about house hacking, they're nervous about doing it with the single family, and just renting out the rooms, but you got that under your belt too, and you did the duplex as well, because something like what we're interested in when it comes to house hacking, it would have to be more of a multifamily unit, but just you, like that's crazy. That's definitely not anything that I would feel, comfortable doing right now. Maybe in my younger days.
Yeah. Right.
We would be more interested in doing that, but that's awesome that you have that under your belt.
And I also wanted to add too, I like the fact that you said follow the rules and live there for a year. I come from a property management background, and in property management, you're not living in these apartments. So you can't tell what's going on in the actual unit. You can't vouch for that when you move someone in there. But if you live in the house that you're going to rent out for a year, you kind of know what's going on. Okay, the AC, it makes this little creak when it comes on times. So just, it's so many benefits, in following the rules. So I really like that you pointed that out.
Definitely. And honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard any stories of them coming by to check. Yeah. But I'm cautious. You're on the side of caution. And had I been in a different position, so initially, because you asked about the investable capital, right? Initially, I was just brand new. I just wanted to cover the bills. But eventually what I was able to do is take that rent and just put it into savings, right? Boom. Because again, I was still learning about real estate. I didn't know about buying the next property and just rolling the money into the next property. So eventually, once I got comfortable with those monthly bills and expenses, I was rolling the amount of money that she was giving me directly into savings. And so that's how I was able to immediately just start saving like $500 a month towards my next deal. So whether that's towards a rainy day fund, whether that's a down payment on the next property, whether you put that into stocks, right, which I do a lot of, right, that's how I was able to eventually boost that investable capital, because, after you get comfortable with that big purchase and what that looks like for your day-to-day life, then you can say, okay, I can set aside this money. I don't need it today, right? And I'm always kind of future looking, right? I always try to do stuff that'll help me tomorrow, help my future self. And you gotta live in the moment sometimes, but I definitely look towards the future with a lot of my thinking and my savings and my investing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Set those goals, go after them.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Definitely. Well, let's keep it moving. Let's go right into the next one. So what motivated you to turn to multifamily investing in 2019? And can you explain the advantages and challenges you faced when investing in your first apartment deal out of town?
Make sure I hit on both. So I'll start about what motivated me. So I got a mentor. I had been looking into real estate. I had been kind of tiptoeing around it. I started to listen to like Bigger Pockets, which is a very popular podcast for newbies. I had looked at some other courses and seminars, which, I would just say be very, do your due diligence, do your research on a lot of these masterminds, a lot of these people who are heavily promotional, but not really adding a lot of value.
Yeah.
So I had looked at some different things, and I hadn't been led to move, but I decided to get a mentor, and I found that mentor through a friend, so through an old coworker. They were posting content of this other guy. And so I said, hey, who's this guy? How you like working with him? What's the story? Mm-hmm. And then I watched that guy for like a year, right? So I wasn't like, I definitely thought I could go to YouTube University, which we know like the internet and AI and everything is just so robust and vast. But I watched this guy for about a year before I decided to, make him my mentor. Mm-hmm. And, he said, well, what are your goals? As any good mentor should ask you, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? And I said, well, I heard on Bigger Pockets that I can do this 10-door strategy, right? I can get 10 properties in my name, and, I'm investing for retirement. So, maybe if I can get to 10 doors, and then by the time I'm 60, I can start to sell them off, and that'll just help my retirement funds. Mm-hmm. And so he said, well, what if you can get 10 all at once? And I said, what? And that's exactly what happened, right? My mentor came across a deal, a 10-unit deal, 10 units, right? And he said, hey, I got this deal. You say you want 10 doors.
Yes.
10 doors. Like, what you gonna do?
There you go.
And I was like, I do want 10 doors. Like, that sounds awesome. So I did end up getting into that deal. So to be clear, the deal did come to him because he was an active multifamily investor. He invited me on board. He walked me through the process. Mm-hmm. I was able to go down to the property. So this is in Greensboro, North Carolina. I was able to go to the property. I was able to meet the property owners, walk the property through the due diligence phase. He sat down and walked me through all the numbers, like explained it line by line, which, at that time I was looking at single families because I had come to him for single family. I thought, I want to be a flipper. I want to be a fix and flipper. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't seen these big spreadsheets, right? Yeah. Underwriting spreadsheets. And so he walked me through all the tabs, and he showed me around the city. When I went down there, he's like, this is the history, this is the universities, all those things. Mm-hmm. And that gave me great comfort. And I talk a lot about diversifying away from stocks. I have a lot of stocks. I have a 401k, I have an IRA and a Roth IRA, and I have my own stocks that I invest in. And, I've done the Forex, I've done options, I'm heavy into stocks, okay? So I like real estate, and I like multifamily real estate because it's tangible. I can touch it.
Right.
Put my hand, I can walk through it, I can see it, right? And I like multifamily real estate because of the economies of scale. So if you have one property and that property is vacant, you're on the hook for that whole mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. If you got a 10-unit property, well, 2 or 3 people can not pay, it can be vacant. you still should be making that mortgage payment, right? So I like what's called the economies of scale, whereas, you could be missing 1, 2, 5 people, and you're still making those payments. You're still able to, operate that asset.
Yeah.
So I would say some of the troubles, that's what got me into it. But I don't know, some of the experiences and troubles that I had for that initial deal, it was really just getting a sense of comfort for a deal that size. And it wasn't even that large. I mean, it was sub $1 million, but to put out everything I had done before then was off the MLS, and I was like putting my 3.5% down. I'm going to owner occupy it. But to put out like 50 grand, 60 grand into a deal, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to wire out. You're like, okay, I'm triple checking the numbers. Is this right? Am I confident about, the underwriting? Am I confident that this market is going to appreciate? So it's really just making an investment where I partnered, right? So, the first house I did, the second house, the duplex, they were all in my name. They were mine. So, okay, what does it look like now to only have a percentage of the deal? And am I comfortable with putting out this much money to only have a certain percentage? And I think what helped me with that was that in that deal, I was the key principal. So that just means I put up the most money, and I almost had control of the deal. So obviously it was a partnership. It was considered a joint venture, and we all talked and communicated and collaborated. But at the end of the day, if there was an issue, everybody else had to outvote me, right? Because I had that ranking equity in the deal. So that gave me some confidence to kind of move forward as well. It's like, okay, I didn't fully want to relinquish control. I didn't know what partnering looked like, but I like the idea that I have the most equity in this deal, and that, I should have the heaviest hand or, the biggest say so. Now, I don't operate that way. We all talk about what's going to happen. We go with the group consensus. I mean, I've had no issues whatsoever with the management of this property, the team that I invested with or anything like that. But that's what I would say my first experience was for that 10 unit.
Okay. So you kind of went into the next question a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, but so I'll just still ask it. You already answered the portion about the key being the key principle, and just kind of breaking that down a little bit. But it's a 2-part question. It's a twofer. So it just says, could you tell us more about your role as a key principal in your first multifamily investment, which you did? And it says, what responsibilities did you have, and how did it contribute to your success?
Gotcha. So again, the key principal is typically the person who is putting up the most money, or they might have the biggest balance sheet. A lot of times you have to have a certain amount of equity and liquidity. Sorry, not equity. You need a certain amount of liquidity and net worth, right, to make the deal happen. And you can pull those pieces together, right, to get to that liquidity and net worth. But typically the key principal will have the highest, or they will bring the most money to the table. And what was the other question?
The responsibilities.
Responsibilities.
Yeah. And
I really didn't have any extra responsibilities. So in a joint venture, everyone should have a responsibility and a role. A joint venture is an active investment, and everyone should have a role. So there's all these roles, but like asset management is one, which is going to be the person who kind of manages and interfaces with the property manager. You might be on the hook to look at finances. So some financial analysis, looking at the records, the books, making sure everything is working properly. You might, like on larger deals, you might be tasked with communications out to investors, right? I don't know if I just say it or not, but we just talked about a lot of stuff together. So I didn't have like extra responsibilities. Everything that we did and every decision that we made, we would either do an email or a call. We talk about it, and we would just be like, okay, this makes sense. Let's move forward. So I didn't have any extra tasks as far as being the key principal. I am required every year to send a personal statement. So that personal statement will just show what investments I have, what cash I have, what stocks, what other properties, like pretty much my financial portfolio.
Yeah.
I have to update it and send it into the bank every year.
Okay.
And that protects the bank to
Yeah.
make sure that they still feel safe and comfortable with us holding the asset, and make sure that we still have the liquidity, we still have the net worth, right? And make sure that we are not in trouble financially, which can then jeopardize, that property.
Right.
So that's the only real requirement I have as the key principal. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's not. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. Bring your money. Have your money handy.
Yes, and the importance of having a strong team, that you're confident in, because it could have felt like a total different way if you didn't have a strong team. It could have felt like, oh, I'm the key principal, it's a burden, but because everybody was playing their part, it didn't feel that way. So that's very important.
Right.
It sounded like there was a lot of good communication going on.
Definitely. And it helps too. It's a smaller, like this deal that we did, the 10 unit, is a smaller deal. So to a lot of people, they're like 10 units, it is a big deal, right? Especially if that's your first deal. In the grand scheme of things, there are people doing 300 units, 500 units, right? So it is a smaller deal, which makes your team smaller, right? You don't want too many investors in that deal because then, again, that's diluting your equity. But, there are not a lot of us in this deal that is difficult to communicate. What I've seen in some of my passive deals is that there's a difference between the active side and the passive side. So in the active groups, the joint ventures, there's more communication, collaboration because we all have that role. Right. In the passive deals where you give your money, invest your money into a syndication, a larger deal, where maybe there's 30 units, 50 units, but typically it's going to be a multi-million-dollar deal. You are trusting that general partnership. You're trusting that team to communicate out to you what's going on. So there is something called a general partnership, which are the people who find the deal, they pull the deal together, they find the capital to make the deal happen. And they do all the underwriting, they go to do the walkthrough, they put the money down for earnest money deposit. Like they're doing all those initial steps to make the deal happen. And then they invite limited partners to bring their capital to the deal, and they are passive investors. So that general partnership team is making all the decisions for the property, and the limited partner team is kind of waiting on that feedback and communications of how the property is performing. If there are repairs, how those are going. If we had to change property management teams, why, how that's going. So in that role, again, you get an email once a quarter. It's very passive. Yeah. Like they might tell you, hey, your distribution check, your money's coming, it's going to hit your account soon. And then any major market shifts or updates. So there's a big difference in that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hope you guys are paying attention, people.
Yes.
She's teaching.
Dropping a lot of gems.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get some more. All right, so with your expertise in real estate investing, how can we foster greater diversity and inclusion in the realm of financial freedom and wealth creation, ensuring that individuals from all backgrounds and communities have equal access to resources, opportunities, and support?
I love that. I love that question. So diversity and inclusion is important to me. I think if you don't know, you should definitely look up like the wealth gap and how marginalized communities are not achieving wealth at similar rate as some of the other communities. So I think it is important that we promote each other, similar to what we're doing here. I think it's important that we give all voices a platform from every demographic and background. So not necessarily to be exclusive, but to be inclusive, right? Just making sure that people can see themselves in the presenter, see themselves as the general partner that I just communicated, see themselves as somebody who can own, a 10 unit, a 30 unit, and a 100 unit. And so sometimes that just means putting their faces out there, putting their voices out there, giving them a platform similar to what you all are doing here today, through a podcast, through, just celebrating their accomplishments as you see it on social media. making sure that you reach out to them and invite them to your investor groups, let them know that you're doing these things. I think so often and I struggle with this as well, like promoting yourself and what you're doing. For those of you who are currently investing, every achievement is something to be like broadcast, because you have to plaster your face up there for the next person to know that you can do it. Like your story matters. And I have to tell this to myself as like people are working with me on like social media and engagement and telling my story. It's like, oh man, well, I don't want to brag. Like I didn't do that much, but to somebody it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, I have done several webinars over the last couple of years where I just bring on people to talk about a particular topic. So it could be lending, it could be Airbnb, it could be multifamily, it could be construction management, and how to deal with contractors. Like I've done a number of topics, which is just how I leverage my platform, or me being on Facebook and stuff like that. I also host a meetup locally, which you mentioned in the beginning. So, a lot of people come, I think, because it's me. Like I'm a person of color and I'm a female, and there's not a lot of us in this real estate industry that are actually like doing multifamily deals. So it's like, hey, I want to bring this to you guys. I make it free. I provide pizza to like lure people out. Come out, get some information, eat.
Yeah.
But I love it because, that meetup, I average, I don't know, now I'm averaging 20 to 25 people, and it's diverse, right? Like you see women, men, you see black, brown, yellow, green people, and I don't know. I love it because it's diverse. You see young, you see old, and that's my goal. It's just like, hey, get up here, learn something new, expand your mind, and the potential is out there, right? Your opportunities are infinite. So I think just giving people a platform, allowing their voices to be heard, celebrating accomplishments, doing the simple act of sharing things. Like a lot of people use that like button, which I like, but like sometimes just share it out if you think it's really impactful. I think that's the easiest way people can do it.
Yeah. Because when you just like something, it's like you're absorbing all of the information, but when you share it, your friends are able to absorb it and they can be encouraged as well.
For sure. Yeah.
More spread the word, because it's like what you're saying, it's connected to just having that poverty mindset. It's bad. You're operating. You want the word to go out to like it's an abundance out there. We're entitled to it. So it's a mindset. Let's shift that poverty mindset to an abundance mindset. And let's go after it and get it. Because it's out there for us. But a lot of times they don't teach it to us in school. A lot of times it wasn't taught to us in our households. So you have to be part of the self-educated, the secrets of knowledge and understanding, and go after it. Go after it. Definitely a great answer.
Yes.
So get your kids. I love how you just touched on like it's not taught in the household. For me, fortunately, it was. My parents did teach the importance of saving and investing. They were heavy stock investors, though. My dad was heavy stock. They don't fully get the real estate bit, but they support me, and like now my son is 2, but he sits with me on the call sometimes. He's a little disruptive at this age, but eventually like it's soaking in, and like he knows that, we going to this house, right? We going to the Airbnb, and he's learning. So just make sure you keep your children included, and they can see that process as you evolve. They will grow up kind of in it and just automatically get that different mindset that a lot of people don't get.
Yes. And just a little bit about, our background. We actually met you at a meetup in Williamsburg, and we heard you speak, and then you talked about how you had a meetup in Richmond, and it was because Richmond is a little bit of a drive for us, but just your personality, just who you are as a person, that made us like, okay, we're gonna take this drive and we're gonna go out there. And when we got there, it was amazing. Just the atmosphere, just everybody in the room, just even how you knowing certain things, asking questions that would be beneficial to the audience. It was just such a wonderful feel, and the pizza was amazing too.
I keep saying I'm gonna switch it up away from the pizza, but everybody loves pizza. It's like your monthly cheat meal. Like
That's one of our cheat day.
Yes.
It's a cheat day.
yes. But no, I appreciate that support. I appreciate you all coming up to just be a part of the environment and promoting the community, right? Because that's one of the things that I will say about you all is that you are liking the content, sharing the content, engaging. And that's what it's about. The more you engage, even if you're not ready for that realm, which I know you all are looking at a lot of different options, but for the people who are not even they're like, this is something I want to do in the future. Mm-hmm. Engaging consistently helps you to absorb that knowledge. And so I definitely appreciate you all for jumping in, becoming a part of my community, part of my network. And, I definitely see that we're going to do some deals soon.
Yes. We're so grateful to be a part. And as founder and leader of the RVA Multifamily Meetup, what is the primary purpose of the group, which I know we touched on a little bit,
yep.
And how has it been beneficial for its members in the local real estate community? And I know I touched on that a little bit, but
yeah. No, again, my reason for developing it was initially I wasn't aware of a lot of multifamily meetups.
Yeah.
I was like, well, where are the meetups? I mean, the single family meetups are every day of the week, every week. They're just everywhere. Of course, after you start something, it's like a mental thing, and I forget the terminology, but it's like when you go out and you buy a yellow Rogue, now you see all these yellow Rogues, right? Yeah. So the same thing was I started my multifamily meetup, and then I found all these other meetups. Now they're still not in abundance like the single family meetups. They're only about, I would say, 3 other meetups. But the key thing is that mine is free. And it will stay free for a while until the library stops letting me stay there. But I wanted to provide a platform where people could come out and learn. Yeah. And, initially when I first started, I mean, it was like a mastermind. It was like I was teaching. I was in there with my charts and my spreadsheets, and I was giving away. If y'all were there in those first, probably say 6 meetings, you should know how to go buy a multifamily, off your rip. I was pretty much just giving people all the knowledge, all the content. And now I still do that, but I also, everybody likes the story. So I have people come in who are currently investing in different aspects of the business to teach from that vantage point, to add more of the storytelling aspect, which helps people connect better with the content. But yeah, my goal was just to give people an avenue to invest in real estate and multifamily real estate. And a lot of people wanted me to focus on commercial, right? But if you think about commercial, that could be industrial space and warehouses, that could be office buildings and technology parks, all these other asset classes. I personally thought there was enough to learn in the multifamily space, commercial multifamily space. So I wanted to kind of zero in on that. Right. So, my goal is just to add value every month. My goal is to get people together and help people, if they want to, transition away from the single family investing into the multifamily, or to give them some diversity away from the stocks and into multifamily investing. So that was really my goal. I would say that people, they get network out of it. Mm-hmm. They're able to bring some different questions that they wouldn't normally be able to bring in the single family groups. Mm-hmm. Because there's different investors, right, at these meetups. So my meetup isn't for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. Not everybody wants to play in that commercial multifamily space. Not everybody has the experience. Not everybody has the money. So it allows them to just come into a different environment, expand their knowledge, expand their network, and maybe, pivot or add a different strategy to their investment tool belt. So that's kind of really why I do it. I hope people take away at least 1 or 2 tips each time they come. I hope they meet a new person every time they come. But yeah, that's really
sure of that. Have you met this person? Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. It's, like I said, it's just an amazing environment to be in. And if you have not been to Tiffany's meetup and you're in Virginia, you need to make it there, because it is a wonderful place to be. Just the way that, as you said, someone who's not in multifamily, how you speak to them, like they're just, I can't really explain it. Like how you just make everybody feel like they're on the same level. You know, because sometimes you feel like, okay, well, this is way over my head. Every time we've come to hear you speak, I never feel that way. I always feel like I'm an equal, and that makes me feel really good as a person. You know, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And, you know, I feel very comfortable. So yeah, I strongly encourage everyone who can make it out to come to your meetup.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Every first Thursday, I'm out there at a library.
Yeah. If you need the link, we'll send you the link.
Yeah, reach out. We're gonna get it over there too. All right. Well, let's finish it out like this. All right. Well, in your experience, you know, as a CrossFit coach. Yeah. See, we do our little working out too, but you know, all right. What's your experience as a CrossFit coach? How has your fitness journey influenced your mindset and approach to real estate investing? And are there any parallels between the two that you find particularly interesting or impactful?
I would say it's all mindset. CrossFit to me is different. You know, I don't know. I mean, I think working out and the consistency of working out, you know, could be a parallel, because consistency in anything is paramount, right?
Yeah.
So getting up to go to the gym every day or 3 times a week or 5 times a week or whatever that is that you set, that is gonna directly correlate to your ability to consistently underwrite a deal, contact a property manager, you know, all the different components of real estate. But I would say mindset, those workouts, I don't know if y'all see. I don't know if y'all actually looked at some CrossFit workouts.
Yeah.
It's different. You know, I do go to like Gold's Gym and I'll get a good pump on. And you're doing those kind of static movements. You're on the machines, you work through it. And I've been to cycling. I've been to spin class. I've been to yoga. I took kickboxing, right? CrossFit is just a different animal. And, you know, the mental capacity, the mental challenges that you go through at all the phases of those workouts, I think helps you when you are facing your challenges in your real estate business or in any business, right? In life. You can reach some heavy places, man. Your mind plays a lot of tricks on you when you are faced with a challenging task, you know. So CrossFit, when you're picking up that weight and you got however many more reps, however many more sets, minutes to go, and you are spent, like that mental tenacity to just keep going, stop, get yourself together, breathe, keep going, I think directly correlates to your investing, because you're going to take a lot of shots. You're going to put out a lot of offers. You're going to make a lot of contacts, a lot of people who are going to say, oh yeah, I'll help you. And then they don't. A lot of deals that are going to fall through, a lot of people that are going to try to get over on you. You know, a lot of deals that just don't make sense. Like we all in the world right now where these deals do not make sense. Yeah. But that ability to take a breather, reset, and to keep going, I think is paramount. So really just the mental toughness that it builds, learning how to trust the process and to celebrate those wins. So one of the key things that we do in CrossFit is we track everything, which I would recommend that you just do in every area of your life. Yeah. But sometimes we will retest or redo some of the workouts, or we'll go through a phase of like an 8 to 12 week cycle, and you'll see that you got stronger. You'll see that you got faster. You'll look and see that you lost inches, even though, you know, your weight didn't change. And so I think the same thing could be true on the real estate level, where you'll see that maybe you have to make so many offers a week. You'll see that now you're analyzing deals faster. You're able to your output has increased because, okay, I've seen this a couple times as I've underwritten these deals. I know that the cost to renovate a kitchen is X. I know that it's going to take me this long to complete this process. I know, and I've talked to so many lenders that the rates are about this, right? And so your effectiveness and efficiency is increasing, even though you might not be getting every deal or as many deals as you want. So I think just, again, that consistency, that mental toughness definitely translates over. And I would just encourage everybody to get moving. Health is wealth.
Yes.
We all gained some weight. Most of us gained some weight over COVID in the last few years.
Yes.
Just like get out there and walk, and it will help you. It will help you in your real estate business. So I definitely recommend that. And if you want to come work out with me in Richmond, every now and then I do work out on Saturday. I'll have a kind of networking investor workouts. We'll go hiking. We might throw some weights around. We might go biking, whatever it is. So just find your community where you can get moving, and you can learn about real estate at the same time.
Absolutely.
Let's get it.
Yes. I have to take you up on that one. I've been wanting to go hiking, so.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but I seen you in the ice bucket. How was that experience?
So first of all, I don't think it was as cold as it should have been.
Okay.
But it was, the toughest part was getting in. Just like, you gotta psych yourself up. You're like, all right, let's go.
Yes.
And they're like telling you there's a certain way that you hold your body and you get in there. It was cold enough. I enjoyed it though. I would definitely do it again. It's supposed to have amazing health benefits. It's supposed to help you sleep better, decrease your stress, help your body and your muscles recover. Like there's all these benefits to doing it. I would do it again. I think everybody should do it at least once. You said what?
How long do you stay in the ice?
I stayed in there 3 minutes.
Whoa.
I think if you start out, you try to do it for a minute.
Yeah.
And then, I think 3 minutes is the goal.
Okay. And that was your first time?
That was my first time. So the next time I do it, because, us CrossFitters, we crazy. There's like this fire and ice challenge. And I haven't looked up the benefits of it yet. But apparently you're supposed to go from the ice to the sauna. Like back to the ice, back to the sauna, however many times. So I don't know yet. I've been challenged to do it. I'll be sure to take videos and pictures.
Yes. She's a beast, guys. Tiffany is a beast. I seen her lifting weights the other day. I was like, get it, Tiffany.
That's all right.
Yes,
get that money.
Just amazing. Make sure that you follow her on Facebook, and we'll be sure to drop all of your handles in the description. But if people want to know how do they get in contact with you, they're interested in your meetups, they want to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Yes, so I am revamping everything right now because, like I said, everybody's helping me with like getting my name out there, my voice out there. So I should be Tiffany M Ward on LinkedIn and Facebook. My website is Utmost Capital Group, UTMOST capitalgroup.com. So I would say either of those methods are the best ways to access me. I'm everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I never tweet, but I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok, but that's just a whole nother rabbit hole. But I would say like Facebook, LinkedIn, or through my website is probably the best way to contact me.
Yes. And make sure when you follow her on Facebook, you also join the RVA Multifamily group as well.
Yes.
Show your support in there. Yes.
Yeah, just ping me. I'll be sure to send it to you if you can't find it. So it should be the RVA Multifamily Investor Group. But yeah, if you can't find it, ping me. I'm happy to send it over.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Enjoy spending this time with you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it. Hopefully y'all make the commute this week. It's a little bit further out than normal, but hopefully y'all can make it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you everyone for watching all the way until the end. This has been another episode of Conversations with SNL. I'm Chia.
Together
Make Sequoia live in REI.
Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah, we're having quality conversations with SNL. Having quality conversations with SNL. Yeah.